guys, welcome to the vlog.
Welcome to the vlog.
And for today's video, we have special guests, Mom Carla and Sozo.
Hi.
Hi. So, for today's video, interviewin natin si Mom about her experience as an international student here sa Canada. So, si Ma'am Carla ay nagstay sa Singapore for how many years ka, Ma'am?
I think almost 9 years.
9 years. Wow.
Almost 9 or 8 plus.
Right. So, una muna, Ma'am, is like, ano yung background mo sa Philippines before ka nag-Singapore? And then, ano yung like ginawa mo sa like throughout the 9 years in Singapore before coming to Canada?
So I'm a graduate of psychology. So initially and easily, I worked in the recruitment, HR, human resources and business development I think I worked for over 7 years or a little over 7 years. And then when I got married, I followed Dust in Singapore. So that's how I moved there. And then I wasn't able to work in a corporate setup, but I had online jobs.
Yeah.
So during the span of that time, I busied myself in different things, but basically more on sa ministry,
Yeah, sa church.
sa church, or just doing life with our life group at that time.
Sure. Thank you for sharing. And
And also, that's
Right.
when I become a mom.
yeah, oo nga. And since like 9 years kayo sa Singapore, Mom, and then dun nga pinanganak si Zozo, like ano yung, I think, like compelling reason why leave Singapore and go to Canada? Or have you considered other countries? And then, bakit Canada yung napili niyong country?
So I think Dust had or has better answers for this, but in my point of view, because I didn't work nga for 7 plus years, one of the main reasons why we chose Canada over Australia, because we've been praying for Australia for the longest time. In fact, we went there to scout the land. So we visited Sydney, Melbourne, and then we went to Perth. But at that time, we didn't have, the discernment that God was telling us, oh, this is your place, this is your nation. So we went there, we enjoyed ourselves, we visited some friends, but we knew it was clear that wasn't the right time to move. So we went back to Singapore, but still we were praying for Australia. That was our direction. And then in 2023, a big shift happened. So Dust was laid off in his previous job. So he was with Disney for 5 years.
And I went there.
Yeah. She went to the office, no?
Yeah.
So he got laid off, but thankfully during that period, he managed to find a new job. Yun nga, nag-work siya for YouTube, but we had a clear answer that it was time for us to move.
Yep.
But since we were praying for Australia at that time, of course, as humans, we had our fair share of research. So we check, magkano ba yung mga financial capacity namin, comparing it with the need, yung actual need. Kaya ba? So nung time na yon, si Laverne and si Mayol, I think you already interviewed them, no? So Dust is cousin with Laverne.
Yeah.
They were here ahead of us, mga 1 taon silang nauna. Tapos, because a family is already here, chinek namin yung possibility. Tapos, pero si Dust talaga yung nag-research. Mainly. Nag-follow lang ako.
Wow, like your lipstick.
Wow, that's so
Wow,
pink.
you're so pretty in the video. Say hi.
So, yun nga. During that time na nag-research na kami comparing Australia and Canada, we found out na ito lang yung sa part ko na I'm not working kasi with Dust, he has a different like side of the story kasi siya yung nagwo-work. So sa side ko, if I will be going back to school, of course, we don't have a helper. We're restarting, as many other Filipinos would say. Wala kaming helper. So it will incur hindi lang yung sa finances, yung
But yung sa time.
sa time, lahat talaga health.
Yep.
And we found out na accessible yung childcare dito. It's more accessible. Maybe that's the better
Yep.
term than in Australia because we're coming here as foreigners. I would be in my student permit and then si Dust open work permit
Yep.
and Zoe would be TRV.
Yeah.
Temporary work. Temporary resident. So that means walang restart nga. Pero sa going back to childcare, it's already free for her. So since international student ako, mahal siya. So just imagine the amount that we're paying for in her school back in Singapore, it's the same amount of what we will pay nga sa school dito as international student for me.
Yep.
So yun, it made sense kasi in Australia, magbabayad kami
Like for the...
sa childcare.
As a
services.
childcare. Since dito kasi is like libre yung school.
Libre yung school. So, yun in itself is a
Like big, ano no, like...
one
Like
major
check mark,
ano
yeah.
talaga siya, check mark for
Yeah,
us. Yun.
right.
And then, in terms of Dust's work naman, siguro I can share just a bit. Yung work niya, even before we went to Singapore, he had a dream. He wanted to be in the advertising scene. And knowing Dust, he really parang he takes steps yan, to chase his dreams. So first, it was clear to him he'd work in Singapore. So nandun nga kami. And next would be if, of course, God willing, gusto niyang mag-work sa New York kasi doon talaga yung in the grand scheme of things, yung advertising, mas malaki yung opportunity for him.
And Canada is near New York.
Yes, but over the years, God changed his mind then
Okay.
because of what's happening and in the Western world, particularly doon sa US. But in Canada, siguro siya makakapag-share siya later. But as for me, nag-support lang ako sa dreams niya. So, comparing the work opportunities that he would have in Australia and dito sa Canada, mas big yung percentage of him growing in his career in advertising dito. And true enough, we're so thankful to the Lord kasi when we landed on our 4th day, he signed his contract.
Wow, diba? Testimony.
Testimony talaga yon because he had to resign from his job. So we went here without anything nga. Wala siyang work, wala pang opportunity at that time. But he was already applying to different companies. But yun nga, God opened many doors. And we prayed that God will shut the other doors para clear. Tapos he led him to this company.
Nice.
And then as for me, we landed in March of last year. On the 12th ata yun, March 12. So I had 1.5 months to adjust, to prepare. Yung prepare si Zoe for her school and prepare myself to sa
Like
sa
sa new
school,
journey.
sa new journey, as in.
Like after ilang years na, no?
More than 15 years na ako out of college. So don't count my age. So yun nga. But thankfully, I was so excited kasi yun nga, hindi ako nag-work for a long time. But I think this is the season for me that God is rebuilding my confidence too. Because I know in my heart that I wanted to work. Because aside from supporting Dust, our family, I also want to support my mom.
Yep.
So that's always been in my heart. And one of the steps is, syempre, kailangan ko mag-work din. But to do that, if you go to a new place, like some other people, I wanted to pursue, yun nga, further schooling.
Yep.
Kasi it's a different world out here.
Sure. For sure.
So I chose early childhood education.
Fanshawe College. Go Falcons.
Percent. So thanks to Sheila and Laverne for influencing
Go Falcons.
us. Yeah.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Moms, for sharing. So, Ano naman, ma'am, yung like, naging preparation nyo? Kasi, di ba, si Zozo is like, I think, 3 years old that time. And then, of course, na nakabuild din ko ng community sa Singapore for 9 years, di ba? Ano yung like, adjustment and preparation na naginawa nyo in moving to like, a different country and then far from home?
I think more than preparing our wallets, our savings, it's more on preparing our faith then, our spiritual muscle. I know it sounds like super Christian-y, but it was really what we prepared for. Because we know, as a mom, medyo gusto ko talaga planchado, ganyan. So, nag-join ako ng mga Filipino groups, forums, of not just Filipino, but international student forums on Facebook. Tapos, I would read messages there na, may mga good news, mga bad experiences. Of course, it has instilled fear din sa akin kapag nakakakita ko ng mga bad reports. But, isa sa mga nakatulong sa akin yung story dun sa Exodus when rebuild sila ng town. So, they had to, like, put up their own tents, and we were believing this is where we will like put up our tent dito sa Toronto. Even if it's so secular, it's kakaiba.
Kakaiba sa nakagisna natin.
Iba siya sa nakagisna natin, but there are more than that. Do sa mga negative things, I think for us, God has helped us open our eyes to see the beauty of Toronto. So, aside from being here as an international student, alam mo yung uso ngayon, this is the point, this is the whole point. Yung
point of view.
Yung point of view, ganun. This is the whole point. Tama ba? I forgot the whole thing. Pero yung sabi niya, POV, this is the whole point, I think. So for us, it's where God is calling us. So kahit na nag-aaral ako sa school, I think God has called us to still reach out to people, to influence them and win them kay Christ. So even if may hardships in terms of doing the assignments, I had to persevere and had sleepless nights, doing a lot of things. Pero behind all this, ang mission talaga is, of course, to glorify God wherever we are.
Right. Yeah.
Ano nga ba yung question?
Like yung preparation from Singapore to
yes,
Canada.
so, tama. Thank you for pulling me back sa main question. So, preparing ourselves talaga spiritually. Because we never know what's waiting for us dito, but if God has gone before us, there's nothing to worry. Just surrender. So it's more on building our faith muscle then. Trusting Him in a different level.
For sure. Thanks, ma'ams, for sharing. And look at the beautiful Zozo, the pretty Zozo. And yun, ma'am, so pagdating dito sa Canada, like, paano mo na-handle yun na, di ba, as a mom, as an international student, as a wife, having different hats at the same time in a different country, like, paano mo na-handle yung lahat ng yun?
Parang thinking about it, only by His grace talaga. Nakakaiyak nga eh.
Wala tayong tissue.
Pero, if you came from a hard place, I think there's no way but to break through and like power through everything. Yun masasabi ko talaga only by God's grace. Kasi madaming prayers ang ano natin dito, ang sinabi kay Lord, binulong, iniyak, lahat na. Actually, hindi ako emotional na person, but in terms of like having relationship with God, I can say, yun nga, I can be honest with Him with all the things that I've been through as a student. Parang si Lord talaga yung nagpalakas ng loob ko. yung sinabi ni Lord na yung being excellent, and doing things heartily as for Him. I think yun yung naging, ano tawag doon? Yung sa kabayo.
Yung parang focus.
Oo, yun nakatulong sa akin. Pag medyo mahirap na, of course, it's really hard to juggle
Yep.
many things all at once. But if I'm doing it for the Lord, He's not after perfection. But gusto ko kasi nung excellence, excellent in all things para sa Kanya. Kasi I know people are looking ganyan. Pero it's not because I wanted to have the praise and yun glory, but I wanted to, yun nga, mirror
Yep.
the excellence I have because of the Lord.
All glory to God.
Oh, glory to God. Tsaka si Dustin, he's doing a lot. As in, sobrang thankful ako kasi without him, hindi din ako makakasurvive talaga. His
Sa teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yep.
Teamwork.
For sure. Yep. Thank you, Ma'am. And yun naman sa school mo, Ma'am, ano yung mga sa tingin mo naging challenges sa'yo? Since you've mentioned nga na parang 15 years ka na out of school. And what do you think are those challenges na na-face mo na na-overcome mo naman? Kasi pag-graduate ka na, di ba? Congratulations! 2 weeks na lang. So, yeah, ano yung mga na-experience mo?
First, siguro being with super diverse class. During my first term, I was fortunate enough to be with 6 other Filipinos in a class. So we were, I think, more or less around 43 to 47. So in that big class, meron 7 Pinoys kasama ko doon. And most of them are, Indians, Nepalese, ganyan.
Iba-ibang lahi.
Iba't ibang lahi. And majority, mas nakakabata sa akin. So, pero yun nga, I keep on reminding myself, even up to now, na ano ba yung purpose ko why I'm going back to school. So, I wouldn't be intimidated by younger people in class.
For sure. Yeah. And, eto naman, Ma'am, like, ano yung na-compare mo since magto 2 years na kayo sa kanya? Ano yung, like, I would say, like, differences na from Singapore and then Canada na talagang ma-observe mo na, ay, kakaiba to dito sa Canada, iba rin yung sa Singapore. Like, ano yung mga na-observe mo so far?
One of the things, siguro, generally speaking, mas individualistic yung mga tao dito. They have their own lives. They don't care much about other people. But it's different din kasi if you're in a community, like in a church community, you would find similar people as what we had in Singapore. Like, since we've been planted in a church, hindi ko masabi na totally different siya kasi we're surrounded with like-minded people. Like sa church, hindi siya totally ibang-iba. So, in terms of adjustment, hindi naman kami nahirapan. In fact, it was seamless, I think. Isa sa mga advice nung tito ko, so before coming here, of course, in-inform ko yung family ko. So, a little background, most of my aunt and tito and tita, nasa different places na sila around the world. So, when I informed them and updated, ito yung big life change sa amin, mag-move kami dito. So, one of my tito said, make sure, hindi niya ako in-encourage about my schooling, but he said, find a community in church. Yun. So, we took it to heart and true enough, yun talaga yung nakatulong din sa amin to have a smooth adjustment.
Yeah. True. Yeah, community talaga. Number 1.
Community.
For sure. And, yun, Ma'am, like for example lang, like, when it comes naman sa cost of living, kasi alam na natin na super mahal sa Singapore, ano yung mga napansin mong like, mas mura pala dito or mas mahal pala sa Singapore? Like, for example, yung tirahan. Mga ganon. Yeah.
So, house, one of the shocking revelation. Mas mura yung house dito kasi back in Singapore, I'd say, nung umalis kami, yung bahay na binabayaran namin was 4,200 SGD. So SGD and Canadian dollars, medyo similar lang siya. Minsan equal, minsan mas mataas si SG ng konti, minsan Canadian dollars mas mataas. Pero medyo similar sila.
So, yung for two moms, she's 2-bedroom.
2-bedroom, 2 baths. So when we initially like moved here, we were renting yung 1 bedroom with 1 plus 1.
One bedroom and one den.
1 bath. So it was 2,650 with parking.
And then electricity.
And free na yon.
Free. Yeah.
Kasama na yung all-in na siya. Yung utilities. So, wala ka nang iisipin. Babayad ka na lang monthly. So, we thought, mas mura siya. Mas mura siya dito. Kasi nung nakatira kami sa 1 plus 1 sa Singapore, same lang. Pero on top of that, magbabayad pa kami ng utilities. Tapos, nasa prime location pa kami. So, I thought it was a good deal.
And sa, ma'am, yung pagkain.
Sa pagkain, since Filipino tayo, nagluluto kami sa bahay.
Meal prep.
Meal prep, ganyan. And I think ang lifestyle namin, hindi naman kami magarbo. So, simple lang kami. Kaya, we're living within our means. So, hindi siya kahirap. Hindi mahirap for us. Kasi, nasanay na kami, even in Singapore na, we cook our own food. We don't eat a lot outside. But, kaya naman. Pero, hindi lang siya priority.
Yan. And then, ito naman ma'am, ano yung pwede mong maging advice dun sa mga families na nasa Singapore ngayon na for example, has kids or has a kid na planning to move in Canada? Like ano yung ma-advise mo based sa experience mo?
Okay, based sa experience ko, since considering na things are changing, immigration has tightened rules then, we can understand na mas mahirap ngayon mag-move dito. Pero once you get the visa, once you get the approval, I think na siya, parang open door na yon. So before coming here, okay din na you have your emergency funds, you have your preparations in place. Maghanap ka ng bahay, community, kasi kung meron kayong anak katulad namin, hindi kami nagkaroon ng problem in terms of looking for a school kasi assigned siya ng government. So, one less, isipin. So, you just have to carry yourself and magkaroon kayo ng faith na if God called you here, He will make, like, He parted the Red Seas for us.
Yes.
Kasi I think ako yung last batch bago nagbago yung immigration, PGWP requirements. So, kung nagpa-plan kayo and you got your approval, nag-prepare kayo, maging buo lang yung loob.
Yep.
Mag-move dito. Tapos yung mga bad news online, take it with a grain of salt. Kasi even if you move elsewhere, kahit hindi dito sa Canada, nothing's perfect. Yung sinasabi nila na, madami diyang mga homeless people, madaming drug addicts. But thankfully, we didn't have any untoward incident. Kaya we don't feel it yet. And I think God will protect us against it. But if it happens, I know we're in a safe place.
For sure. And yun nga, ma'am, yung mga merong kids sa Singapore na let's say mga bata pa, would you recommend na as early as possible or as young as possible yung kids is like maging open na yung mind nila for possibilities of migrating since 'di ba sa Singapore super hirap ng maging PR. So would you recommend that?
Yes. I think mag-advocate ako diyan. Alis kayo if you have that desire in your heart. Tapos pinagpe-pray niyo siya na mag-migrate. I think I would say mas maaga better kasi katulad dito, I think iba't iba yung mga immigration system sa different countries, but if you're specifically praying for Canada, their immigration rules is ever change. Pero isa doon yung sa age. sa age. So, once you're, yun nga, nag-age ka every year, it will affect your score. But thankfully, nag-open sila ng different streams. So, di mo alam, masusurprise ka na lang. For example, since nasa education stream ako, early childhood education, they just opened a pathway for us. So, na hindi mo na, you don't have to think about your age. Even if yung experience, hindi, you just have to be within the industry. Tapos, plus factor, kung meron kang experience, nag-aral ka dito, and then, you just have to apply for it. Tapos maghintay. Kung para sa'yo, God will give it. Kung hindi, there's a better plan.
For sure.
So, alis na.
Alis na daw kayo ng Singapore. Ito, ma'am.
Pero yun nga, iba't iba. Kami, gusto talaga namin dito.
Yeah. And, ma'am, kaya ito naman kay Zozo. Since Zozo is 5 years old right now, pero 3 years old siya nung umalis ng Singapore.
4 na kami, nag-land kami dito, 4 na siya.
So, ano yung napansin mong like adjustment sa side niya? Or are there any na-observe mo?
Changes.
And then changes. And then how she cope up with the, migration journey niya?
I think she's too young to think about
Yeah.
migration. So, before we left Singapore, isa sa mga buying factors, sabi namin sa kanya, kasi at that time, gusto niya si Anna and Elsa. And we didn't have any experience. Winter experience. So, na-excite siya nung sinabi namin na may snow dito, ganyan. Tapos, we also prepared her saying, magkakaroon siya ng mga bagong kaibigan. And it was, I think, a breeze for her. Pero one of the changes na nagustuhan namin, kasi she was super Singlish. Maririnig mo, Singlish accent. Pero I didn't have anything against it. Pero alam mo, after 3 weeks pa lang yata, when she joined, yun nga, JK, junior kinder siya, nakaslang na siya.
Ang bilis mag-adapt, no?
Oo, slang na siya. Sobrang surprise. Yun. Pero in terms of friendship, building relationship with other kids, I think we're thankful na adaptable siya.
May mga na-miss ba niya yung mga friends niya sa Singapore?
Super. And Singapore itself, lagi niyang sinasabi, pag nagpe-prayer time kami sa gabi, pillow talk, sabihin niya, she didn't miss a day noong 2024 na sabihin sa amin na I miss Singapore, I miss iisa-isahin niya lahat ng kaibigan niya. Ise, Ate Sab, kahit yung mga wala na sa Singapore na naging friends niya in Singapore, iisa-isahin niya yon. Si baby brother Lilo, Marga, Solana, lahat sila. Sabihin niya na mi-miss niya every night.
That's an adjustment for Zozo. But it's a good opportunity to grow, and then here living in new country and then new journey, right?
At saka iba din yung education system. So I think one of the changes then. So since nag-start si Zoe sa school at 2 years old sa Singapore, heavy on ACADS. Pero dito, it's play-based. So, at first, I was thinking, parang na-delay pa ata yung progression in terms of ACADS. But, on the brighter side, mas naging confident siya, mas naging sociable. Kahit na sociable naman na siya noon pa, I think, nakita ko talaga na she's not afraid to talk to people, to approach other people, ganyan.
In terms naman, ma'am, siya to tinatanong ng karamihan, yung childcare benefit dito sa Canada. Like, sa base experience nyo. And, ano yung like advantage dito sa Canada?
So, we never had any subsidy doon sa Singapore kasi nga foreigners. Tapos, I was holding a dependent pass. Tapos, si Das naman employment pass. So, wala kaming basic benefits aside from the benefits that we had sa company. Pero dito sa Canada, wala pa rin kaming child care, or CB yung tawag nila, child benefit. Kasi it applies only when you're at least mga 18 months ka So, 2 months na lang. Magkakaroon na kami. In fact, nakapag-apply na kami last week.
Yes. Nice.
So, magkikick in siya by October.
Wow, yun. And then yung child benefit is until 18 years old, diba?
Until 18 years old, yan siya. Tapos it depends. Hindi siya absolute yung amount. I mean, equal to other families kasi it also depends on the income ng individual families. Hi, pretty girl.
Mommy, when are you finished?
We're gonna finish soon. Almost. Eto na, last na to,
girl.
ma'am. So, thank you so much for sharing all of those experiences here in Canada. And, ma'am, ito na lang. Ano message mo sa mga aspiring international students sa Canada na galing maybe from Singapore specifically, na, would like also to come here, kung hindi man student, maybe, as a work permit. And, anong message mo sa kanila?
Basically, ang message ko, Canada is a family-friendly country. I would speak na lang dito sa Toronto. Maganda yung Toronto, hindi siya nakakatakot as other people would think. It's actually, we're in a park and before us, meron siyang may splash pad.
Yes.
Tapos may moms will show you yung
gonna
surroundings
show you.
namin. So we're surrounded basically by families na normal din sila na nag-family time on a weekend. It's a good place to start.
Yes.
Tsaka sa experience ko there, warm.
Yes.
Wala pa ako talagang negative experience. We love the snow. Siguro kasi wala kami sa landed house. So, we live in a condo. Dun sa place namin, we're fortunate enough then to parang meet our neighbors once in a while. Kasi nag-gather sa rooftop, may mga free activities. And one of the things then that I love about Toronto, you just search online, yung government, madami silang opportunities for families from different cultures talaga to diverge. Yan, meron sa different parks, may mga guided walk,
Or
nature
tours.
walk, tours, tsaka may mga support systems sila in place para sa mga foreigners like us or newcomers, new families. Yan. And then, more than being liberated, what I love about Toronto is that hindi siya kasing lamig ng other places in Canada like Alberta, Manitoba. When it's summer, para siyang Pinas. When it's winter, it's our first
Is
winter.
it a winter?
Kayang-kaya. Yung puffer jacket from Uniqlo, enough na yun. Hindi siya sobrang lamig.
Ayan, thank you so much.
Ay,
Thank you,
Zozo, what do you
everyone.
love about Toronto? What do you love
what do you love
about
about Toronto?
Canada?
Playground.
Playground. How about, what can you say about the people or your friends here?
Are they nice?
Yeah.
Do you like school? Wow. Say hi to the vlog.
Bye-bye.
Ayun, thank you so much for sharing, Ma'am Shi. And I hope, guys, na meron kayong natutunan sa aming casual interview. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. See you again in my next vlog. Bye!